Welcome everybody. Today we're going to talk a little bit about driving with Eustachian Tube Dysfunction. A lot of you have had questions about it, and I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of my perspective about it and what I did to get over this condition, or to kind of heal myself during the process of having it while driving. Now, a lot of us spend a great deal amount of time in our vehicles. We're driving, commuting our children back and forth. We're taking friends here, taking family members there, and we're getting ourselves to and from work and school. It can be very challenging to have this condition when you're trying to drive and you're trying to live a lifestyle with some kind of normal sense of balance here. So speaking of balance, that is what's going to be the main topic of our discussion when it comes to driving with this condition. Now, I'm going to start the vehicle up here, and this is just for, cinematic purposes, but mostly to kind of give you a little bit more realistic here. So just want to move the vehicle around. When I had this condition, driving was a little bit of a challenge for me. Sorry about that. Car's letting me know all these things. That's okay. So when I had this condition while I was driving, it was challenging, because the problem was there was a certain disorientation that I felt. Basically, what a lot of you might be feeling is you're feeling disoriented and you're feeling like the pressure isn't equalized. Well, that's probably because the pressure isn't equalized. Mainly is because there's something called the vestibular system, and I'm going to go over the vestibular system a little later in the video here. I'm going to kind of give you a 3D anatomy perspective of the vestibular system and how important it is housing the organs of the ear, which maintains our balance. Obviously, you all are aware of Eustachian tube and its prominent decisions of trying to keep you intact. Now, the purpose of the Eustachian tube is to obviously drain fluid and balance the air pressure in the middle ear. And so what it does is, when that system, the vestibular system, which is the organs in the ear, become a little out of whack, they become a little, I guess you could say malfunction, hence the dysfunction in Eustachian tube, it can throw off your balance a lot. So when we're in this vehicle, we're dealing with a certain sense of pressure. Now, we all have a pressure that's either balanced or imbalanced in the ear. Now, when we're in this vehicle, we have a sense of this. Basically, look at the inside of the vehicle, and the outside world is the atmosphere. Now, if that pressure of the atmosphere and the pressure inside the vehicle doesn't match somewhat to the ear pressure in your ears, you're going to get this disorientation. You're going to get this weird feeling that not only affects you just in your head, but it starts to travel all over the body in a sense that you just feel weird. Think of it like a swimming pool. You have to balance the chemicals, and the minute there's too much of something else, it throws off everything else. The pH levels, everything. It just throws off all kinds of levels of that pool. So when you're driving, the reason why you can't particularly identify exactly what's going on with you is because your balance is off. And when your balance is off, it's hard to really understand what's going on. So and you have to kind of do a few things to kind of remedy that. And a few things that I did while driving is, I know this sounds very, very odd, but one of the things that I had to do that is strictly for some people, look at it as just cleanliness, keeping your vehicle clean, aesthetic, whatever you want to call it. I kept my windshield very clean on purpose, because when you're dealing with this condition with the ear and the problems with the ear and the vestibular system, it's crazy to say this, but it also messes with you visually. So not only are you having hearing impairment problems, possibly if you're in that level. I never had hearing impairment problems, but if you're dealing with hearing problems and you're dealing with disorientation, equilibrium problems, you can also have visionary problems too. Basically it's not really blurry, but it's not really focused. So the lens is a little off. So I would keep my windshield super clean. A lot of you do that already anyways, but it's just something I need to bring up in today's video, just to kind of give you every little step of every little thing that I do. These are little things. Now, I would clean my windshield because little blurriness and little blotchiness on the windshield would kind of mess up. We don't realize how important our eyes and ears are connected. They're incredibly connected because not only do our eyes visually take in and keep us focused on what we're doing, our ears balance the pressure out of what our eyes perceives and sees. And so if your eyes are off and your vision's off, your ears are already off, you're gonna just set yourself up for a really bad driving experience, or overall just a bad health experience. And I'm sorry, there's a little bit of a shade here. I'm going to be turning shortly, but what I would also drive, that would be one thing. Always wear sunglasses as well. Try to wear sunglasses if you can. Some of you don't need it driving. Some of you might live in a place where it's not as bright and sunny here, but sunglasses helped a lot. I'm just going to throw a lot at you all right now, so you have a little bit to take home with you. Wear sunglasses. It was good, but it's also good too when you wear sunglasses. It depends on the type of the glasses you have. Like if you have some that are not as dark shaded, it helps with just minimizing some of that that sunlight that's coming in there. Because remember, if you're dealing with visual problems, the sunlight can be kind of hard. And when you're squinting your eyes a lot, and you can't see, but I'm squinting my eyes. When you squint your eyes, it can start inducing headaches and problems with migraines and things. So that's just one thing that I want to throw out there. But on a balance perspective, one thing that you can try doing, and I don't know if a lot of people have told you all about this, but when I would drive, I would eat. I don't have it in here right now, but what I would do is I would eat ginger chews. Ginger chews are very good at basically opening up the sinuses, kind of tricking your mind to be focused more on the gingery, very pepper-like senses. The flavoring of the ginger kind of helps with just keeping the body intact. It helps with balance issues, inflammation. It helps with inflammation, so it helps with balance. So ginger chews is a good thing to put into your car. The good thing about it, I'm trying to keep my belt from not rubbing my mic here. I guess I could just switch it, but so ginger chews was very good. I did that quite a bit, and so that was one other thing. And then another thing I keep in my car is I keep like peppermint tablets. Peppermint tablets are good. Again, there's a connection with like keeping the nasal passages open. Keeping the nasal passages open is going to help your breathing. So when you're breathing, you're allowing oxygen to flow through the body more seemingly. It helps it go through, and not only help with the ears, it helps with circulation. It helps with blood circulation. So sorry about this big shade that's over me right now. I have to turn this. So I was trying to turn and go somewhere else. But when you have blood circulating through the body and through the ears, it helps with healing. And so if you have good blood circulation going on, that's only going to just help you feel better. So the main purpose of why our ears are plugged like this is poor circulation. And we can't find that healing. So the one thing you want to definitely do is you want to keep that going. So you want to have some peppermint in the car. Ginger chews, I don't have any more of those. I've been using those. I've been eating those. I still do this to this very day because it's good. I mean, I like it. It helps me feel better. So ginger chews is very good. That's also one thing. Again, you want to stimulate the ear. So if you're at a stoplight, what you can do is you can massage right beneath the earlobe right here. So right in that area, you can start massaging it, going in a circular rotation. You can do this for about, however long you have, where you can be hands-free for a couple minutes or a couple seconds or however long you can do. Just go ahead and go in a circular rotation. You can do this at every stoplight. And if you're driving in my city, you're going to have lots of time to do this. So just kind of rotating your fingers around the area right beneath that earlobe. You want to keep adding stimulation and circulation. Those are the two important words when it comes to getting that ear back in check. And I'm saying do this all during your driving experience. This is going to not only help you, it's going to just open up your ears while you drive. Another thing, and this is the last thing that I wanted to bring up, is chin tucks. I don't know if you've heard a lot about it, but chin tucks help strengthen the neck, the core of the neck, helps strengthen the muscles surrounding the neck. What are muscles surrounding the neck? They're important parts in keeping our head and shoulders and body aligned so that the muscles around our ear and surrounding tissue and ligaments keep functioning correctly. So you want to do chin tucks, and you can do that again at the light. You can be at the light and you can do your chin tucks. This strengthens the large portions of the neck. But enough of that. I know I rambled on a lot. I hope that was very helpful. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the animation right now so you can get an idea of the vestibular system and how important it is to keeping your balance and your driving experience more pleasant. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Anatomy 101. I'm going to take a look here. Right now we're looking at the vestibular system. And I wanted to give you like a perspective here. There's a couple of components. There's two important components that I wanted to talk about here. Right now we're looking at two components. This one, there's two here. The yellow nerve set of nerves there that you're looking at there is the vestibular cochlear nerve. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what that nerve does. And then I also wanted to discuss basically that you see here, there's three little semicircular rings here in purple. That one is going to be important to, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but that's the membranous labyrinth. And that is going to help you with basically interpreting balance. So a lot of you are dealing with balance issues. These two components are housed on the temporal bone. So as you can see, the little island that's kind of holding these two components up, it's called your temporal bone. And right now it doesn't look like much, but what I'm going to do is once I get done explaining a little bit about these components, I'm going to go ahead and put this into a full anatomy figure so you can see what's going on and what this really is. But right now we're going to just discuss these semicircular components here. And so right now you have the membranous labyrinth, and there's three little semicircular canals here. And these canals are really key components, and they're responsible for detecting rotational movement. So a lot of you are dealing with balance issues when these semicircular canals are not functioning correctly for various reasons, medical reasons, due to, it could just be structural damage, it can be inflammation, it can be numerous of things. If you had surgery, there's a good list of things that can go wrong with these canals if they're not functioning. But they detect linear acceleration and gravity. So when these semicircular canals get thrown off, you're going to feel disoriented. So when I was driving the vehicle, at the time when I was dealing with ETD issues, these semicircular canals were not firing correctly. They were not pulling data correctly to the brain. So I was not able to interpret a lot of things. So when that gets thrown off, it can cause a lot of problems. And so we want to also go down. Let's move a little ways here. We're going to talk about the vestibulocochlear nerve. So that's this nerve right here. This nerve sends signals to our brain. And so what its main purpose is responsible for converting sound waves into electrical signals that the brain can understand, basically. And when those sound waves enter our ear, they cause fluid inside the cochlea to vibrate, which then stimulates like tiny hair cells. And you'll see these here. See if I can get them. They create like an electrical impulse, and then those are sent to the brain. So see how it has these little endings here? These convert sound, and this gives us this is very crucial, basically for stimulating the impulses to basically communicate with our brain. And when these two components are not firing the way they should be or housing information, it could give us a whirlwind of problems. And then right next to it is just this, I think you can see barely here, this is the facial nerve. It's hard to kind of interpret the facial nerve from the vestibular cochlear nerve, but the facial nerve is going through there. And then these two little purple rings here, see if I can get them here. That's just the membranous labyrinth going through. So it basically goes through the temporal bone and goes out, and then you see that it creates this, on this end it's the three semicircular canals. So let me go ahead and put this into a full anatomy here so you can kind of see what we're looking at. Okay, so this might help a little bit, but still might not help a lot. There we go. So take a look here. So now we have a little bit of a structure. I'm doing this in pieces on purpose. So you can see our ear there, and you can see when we zoom in, you have our vestibular system. It's not too much. See, there it goes. And if I just turn it a little bit, let's go around this way. See how our ear and our vestibular is connected to that tissue there. And see, this is controlling the mechanisms of our hearing right there. So right now we're inside the skull. We're deep inside our skull, and you'll see our ear is right here, and then inside we have the vestibular system. So this is kind of how it gives you all a perspective of how it looks. Now if I add a little muscle, let's add some muscle. This anatomy figure is going to start hitting the gym. So here we go. Add a little muscle there. Boom. So look at those layers and layers and layers. So you can still see in between the vestibular system right there. Very close quartered to the ear there. Now if I start hacking away of, let's start hacking a little bit of this muscle out of the way. See? That just kind of gives you an idea of how it looks. See? So all that has to function correctly for our ears to pick up that, for our ears to interpret that. Now our ears basically it's just tissue, but the wiring of our body has to be in check. Now let's go back. Just take away a little bit of muscle. Too much, he's got too much muscle. We can't see where we're in bones in the way. Let's take away a little bit of that. Got a lot going on here. Now let's add some, there we go. Look at that. Some nerves, some arteries, some veins. Look at what all can go wrong. Now I don't want to sound negative saying that, but look at all what can go wrong. See, we got our veins and we got our arteries. And when things go wrong, see, you don't realize, but all of these are all connected and they're interlaced. So when things go wrong with that vestibular system, you have to realize that it's surrounded by all of this. And I didn't even put all of that. Let me add a little bit more there for you. Now I'm adding the nerves. The nerves, the arteries, and the veins are all just kind of wrapped around our vestibular system. And so when there's issues and inflammation that goes wrong, you can see how it can disrupt a multitude of things just by looking at that. So that pretty much discusses our vestibular system and how important it is to make sure that we get that checked whenever we feel any issues going on with our balance, because there's a lot of signals being transferred, and nerves and tissue and ligaments and arteries being housed around our vestibular system, that when things go wrong with that area, you see how many things it can disrupt, how many things can go wrong. So it's really hard to always troubleshoot without the proper education and the proper machinery to see what's going on with this system. But some really simple things you can do, like I discussed earlier in the video, is just making sure you do your chin tucks, make sure your neck is loose, because see, that has a lot to do with it too. Let me just show you quickly here. See, a lot of our arteries and nerves are stimulated through our neck here. See, so a lot of that is traveling. I can't really show you all of that here, it's kind of limited, but you see here there's a lot of nerves and veins going from the neck up through our brain, all the way around, wrap around to passing through our vestibular system. So I can't really show you exactly which ones and where they go and how they go, but see, a lot of it passes through from our neck. So we want to make sure to keep our neck in check. We want to make sure to keep our diet in check, keep our stress levels down, because all of that is going to lead to us having more problems and more issues to deal with. So I hope this video was very helpful for you. If it was, take time to subscribe to the channel. I try to bring content as often as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to step out of the J Wellness studio and leave you all in good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, who are here, to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody.